If Bitcoin does this, it is going to be an all-out free-for-all. The crypto market will be blanketed, absolutely overcome with possibilities. Wow, we need to look into this. And this ever important trend line that I identified this morning. We're gonna get into more details in this video. It looks as though there's something in the water. Wow, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to this episode. Thank you for joining me on December 1st, this Sunday. Guys, the market is looking pretty ripe today. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about in regards to the trajectory of this overall market. Guys, I am not even going to lie. Patterns like this are some of the most exciting in the crypto space because we could be about to see huge gains or huge dumps instead of recognizing 100% what pattern we have right now. There is so much interpretation, and in my opinion, that is one of the most exciting times in the market. We're not in the middle of like some sort of descending triangle, and we know that the next month will be dumping. We didn't necessarily just have a massive breakout. So again, these are very interpretive times, very subjective, and to me, that's what's most exciting. And that's why, welcome to my world, welcome to this TA, because we have a lot of interesting patterns to talk about that nobody knows about. So guys, thanks so much for joining me. We have so much to dig into. It's going to be a straight TA episode as usual. Really excited to get into it, guys. Before we really start the episode, I do have to say, all you have to do to enter this giveaway for this brand new sealed treasure. Wow, you can even see the webcam in the back. Wow, look at that. All you have to do is leave a comment below. But as well, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe, hit that bell, do whatever you want to do, and let's really, without any further ado, let's jump into the TA. Wow, guys, so again, what I kind of like started the video off talking about why this is such an exciting time, I want to go into detail with that a little bit, what I meant by that. And then we can just jump into some of these new patterns that we've identified and some of this interpretation that we have up for grabs basically and see what's really going on. So basically what I meant at the beginning of this video is like, you know, once this pattern broke out, or even when it was, you know, a few months before it was breaking out because it was such a long pattern, a lot of people did recognize that this was a descending triangle. And whether we liked it or not, usually descending triangles break down, right? And it did break down, okay? It broke down massively. This is an absolute textbook. I actually go back to this pattern a lot in my videos just because this is such a beautifully, I don't want to say obvious, but a beautifully constructed, beautiful good example of a pattern playing out and a textbook move after that pattern. It's a beautiful descending triangle, and it is a beautiful drop out of the descending triangle, right? So what I meant by that at the beginning of the episode is basically, when this was going on, people were kind of, you know, the pattern was kind of obvious, or after it broke out even. It was very obvious. So when you're living in those times, you know, you break out here, say we're right here looking at the chart, we're like, well, you know what, I really don't think we're going to go back up to, you know, 10,000 Bitcoin per Bitcoin in the next month. People pretty much for the most part understood, you know, whether we liked it or not, because we didn't really like it too much, people understood that there was probably going to be continued downside, right? I mean, that's what many people, I remember this time, a lot of people, you know, that was kind of the common consensus. But what is so exciting about now, you guys? What is so exciting about now is there are a few things. And again, we really have to jump into the technicals. I don't want to waste too much time here, but again, I'm just so excited. I need to clarify this. We have been descending downwards for 6 months. Okay, guys, so one of the exciting things about this is that lends credibility to the fact that we could have a breakout any day. Okay, because we've paid our dues basically for the next breakout is basically what I'm trying to say. You don't get breakout after breakout after breakout. You have breakouts followed by dumps, okay? Breakouts to the downside, and vice versa. It's a very yin and yang, very up and down, okay? We don't just go up, and that's history, right? And we don't go just down, and that's history, right? There is a mixture. So basically what I'm saying is, for one, we are prime for a breakout massively at any time because of the current trend of the market. Okay, and even the 2-year trend is actually very dumpy. The 2-year trend is very negative. Okay, and what I mean by that is this entire 2 years, right here, all in this big circle that I'm doing, has been, for the most part, dumpy. Okay, look at this. Complete dumpage. This is the only period where it wasn't a dumpage. And then right here, complete dumpage. So out of this 2-year trend, okay, 1, 2, 3 of them are dumpy. Only one of them is pumpy. Okay, keep that in mind. So I want to start off by that. We've seen much more dumping in the past 2 years than we have seen pumping. Okay, and in my opinion, because of the natural cycle of things in general, that leaves some open interpretation for some pumpy. Okay, Okay, so now I actually want to jump into the TA because that was kind of some jibber jabber, but let's actually jump into what's going on here, okay, guys? Although what I just said, I definitely, I agree 100% with what I said, but yeah, it was kind of not as juicy as what I'd like it to be. Now let's get into the juice. So one of the first things, this is something, so I want to start with this line that you do recognize, and then I want to talk about these two extra lines that I've added to the chart for much needed correlation and observation of this trend. Okay, so this light purple line, this one right here, okay, I'll actually just trace it with the white so you can see it. Not a perfect trace, but you know the line I'm talking about. You see it now. That purple line has been there for, I've had that on there for months. That's the trend line there, or the structure, market structure line. Now these two parallel lines, okay, this one and this one, these two, the lighter purple, the different shade of purple, and then this whatever color that is, I don't know what that is. So these two lines here, those two are actually really necessary as well. And actually, I started by identifying this line here. Okay, so this one right here is very crucial in a lot of ways, but let's actually see, if you go back and trace this line, clear support here, okay, some clear resistance there, and then as well, you see this line played a key in the middle of this channel, okay? So look where it would find resistance and support in the middle of this channel, okay? Very key there. And then also around to this area, currently where we're facing resistance now. So guys, again, to highlight the point at the beginning of the video, why this is such exciting times is because, in my opinion, there cannot be much more downside, if any, okay? There could be, but there cannot be too much more, in my opinion. Guys, there are people out there calling for $1,300 Bitcoin, okay? Before we really continue in the topic of this video, let's take a look real quickly and see what that would even look like, okay? So this is kind of just zoomed out. Let me just circle where a $1,300 Bitcoin would be, guys. Guys, okay. You know what? I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen, guaranteed. But to me, that doesn't look realistic, okay? Obviously, I'm bullish on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole. I think the entire market's going to explode. But guys, I just do not see this, okay? Now, could it happen? Sure, okay? Anything can happen. Literally anything can happen. I could be the first man on Mars. But will I be? I don't really think so, okay? I don't necessarily think that's my passion. I don't necessarily think I want to be the first man on Mars. Are they going to recruit me and force me to be? I don't know, maybe. But I don't think it's very likely, okay? So again, this could happen. It's very similar, in my opinion, to am I going to be the first man on Mars? I don't think so, guys. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's look at more realistic possibilities, because although I don't necessarily think we have a ton of downside, I do think that is a possibility. I think that's more likely than 1,300. And what I mean by that, I do think, okay, we can even just very lightly talk about this. There are some key levels, maybe slightly above the 5,000, 55 to 65 roughly. And again, I don't want to spend too much time on that because that's not really what the video is about. But I do expect, if there would be downside, that could be a very low bottom. Although I personally think that we have already found the bottom, or we have very closely found the bottom. Okay, so that's one thing. But believe it, guys, we already went down to like 33. I don't necessarily think we're going to go down to 5,000 under. But again, that is, for me, the low ball estimate. Probably right around that 55, that's the lowest. But I want to be more realistic and talk about what I think is actually more likely. Okay, so what I think is more likely, and for this is where we kind of get more technical and have to jump into the close time frames. Really take a look at this. Okay, there have things that have been happening. Okay, so this is the bottom of this market structure. Clear bounce. This is the golden pocket. Clear bounce. Clear support. Spent an entire week in there. Okay, spent an entire week in this golden pocket. Between the 0.65, 0.65 and the 618. The 0.618 and the 0.65. Okay, key critical area. Again, I don't see many people still talking about this, but this is, we bounced out of that, okay? And in fact, what we see a little bit more recently is more bearish talk, okay? So we have seen a fair amount of bearishness lately. People actually switching a little bit and saying we could see even lower prices than we've been getting. And to me, that indicates that this might even be more valid, because usually people tend to not have a consensus of what is actually happening, meaning if a lot of people think this is the bottom, then it usually maybe isn't the bottom. But a lot of people tend to think that we actually could fall through that. So that's one thing as well. We have to keep in mind, bottom of this market structure, okay, touching the bottom of this descending channel / bull flag potentially there, as well as the golden pocket there as well. And something we have to keep in mind too is that we have actually found some resistance right around this 21 daily EMA. We can see that right here. That's this line right here. And we've also seen some resistance right around the middle of this channel. All textbook, pretty clear stuff, okay? Nothing really stretching. To me, all of that makes sense. Very clear stuff. But now, one of the reasons this is critical today, as of today only, because this is probably going to be non-existent within the next 24 hours, meaning within the next 24 hours, it probably won't be right on this line. It'll either be above it or be below it, okay? And might revisit this golden pocket, or we might be revisiting this 21 EMA as well as the middle of this channel here. Okay, I don't really think we're gonna, I mean, based on the volatility that we've seen recently, we're seeing moves, okay? So that's basically one of the main things I wanna give you a takeaway, is that we're probably gonna see some crazy price action soon, just because this has been a very volatile few weeks, okay? And I think we're in such a key level in terms of so many different things that we're not gonna spend a lot of time right here. We're either gonna fall right through it and actually, or break above it. Now, keep in mind, guys, we've already dropped, let's see, about $300-400 today. Sundays usually are not the best days in terms of the market price. Usually Sundays are dumpier days. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And as well, oh guys, we can't also forget this. This 77.84 is actually this horizontal line, this blue line that I have right here is actually a key level too. And so all of these things coalesce right here. So 1, 2, 3, so the middle of this market structure here, this 21 EMA, as well as this horizontal resistance. No wonder we bounced off of it. But if we're able to, again, this is a very key zone here, and so is this. And currently we're right here. So if we're able to bounce back and actually surpass this, guys, I think we're actually going to have a pretty big pump, maybe 10-15% on the day. And this is where things actually kind of get really exciting. Revisiting right here to a few different things here. It will be right around the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA. As well, the top of this flag, and as well this horizontal 8300. Now, why is this a key level? Okay, we can zoom back and you can kind of see right here. It actually goes even further back than that, going 6-7 months back. And as well, why is this a key level right here, guys? Okay, we zoom out here, bottom of this. Okay, bottom of this as well. This was like the top of it, and this is the bottom of it. So that was a very key channel. And guys, both of those also go back to 2018 in that descending channel. So very key things here. Very exciting things. I think we're going to see massive swings in the next 24 hours, 28, 48 hours. I think Monday is going to be pretty big move. I think Monday is going to be pretty volatile because we're just in the middle of so much right now, and the market has to decide one way or another what way we're going. But I do want to end off just with the idea of this, guys. The idea, more of a macro trend. What is the overall trend here? Is this so far for the past 6-7 months, we've just been going down, basically bouncing in this descending channel. Is that going to be the fate of the universe, or are we going to slowly see, or maybe quickly see, some massive volume up here on this, chart here, and a big bounce going into the halving? And guys, keep in mind, I have that right here. Here's the halving right here, pretty much in the middle of 2020. Are we going to see a massive bounce going into the halving? Like we have seen historically. We have seen prices rise. Okay, so we could also see that, and that's more of a macro indicator for the entire market. So guys, let me know what you think below. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.